What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning back in. Welcome to episode 2 of my work and holiday series. As you can tell, my situation here is a bit changed. Our lease ended at our old apartment, and since we're starting to travel again in a few weeks, we decided just to stay in a hostel for the next couple weeks while we're in Frio here. So I'm currently at the Fremantle Prison Hostel, which if you ever go to Fremantle, I really recommend it. It's a cool, awesome place to stay. Super clean hostel, very well laid out, and it's so cool to be able to live in the history of it. This actually was built in 1850, and they converted. It's the female division that they converted to a hostel now. It's a really unique stay, and I really recommend it. All right, on today's video, today we're talking about a very important topic, which is actually applying for your visa. Now, this is probably one of the most important factors because without it, you cannot come and get a work and holiday. You cannot come and experience the amazing environment and culture of Australia without getting this right. So I warn you, it may be a little bit dry, but I am going to walk you through every step. I'm going to show you through my computer everything you need to do. I'm going to fill out the entire visa with you, and you're going to be able to see step by step what you need to do so that you make no mistakes and you know what to expect when you go to do it yourself. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to the Australian government website. So you can just Google Australian working holiday visa, and it'll bring you to this site here. It's the homeaffairs.gov.au. Very important. So you click that, right? And this is the Australian government website. Just give it a sec. There you are. So there are two types of visas. There's the 417 and the 462. If you're from Canada or a lot of Europe, it's the 417, whereas other areas are 462. And there is subtle differences, which we'll talk about later. But for now, just because I'm Canadian, we're going to talk about the 417. Okay, so the 417 here, as you see on this page, it tells you everything really you need to know right off the bat here. You can stay for 12 months. It's 485 AUD, which is what it costs, right? Tells you how the application days, though this is one thing, it is accepted so quick. Mine got accepted in an hour, right? So don't stress too much about that. It tells you what kind of work you can do, how much you can study, how much you can travel, and it does talk a little bit about the specified work, which you are able to do 3 months of in order to get another year. Here it talks about what you must do or must have to be qualified for this. All right, so let's just dive in. Okay, so first off, you need to create an IMNI account. That's not hard at all. You just basically go down here and create an account. Since I already have one, I'm just going to fill it out. So once you've created your account and logged in, you'll bounce to this page, and then you just click continue. And here you are. It starts at the beginning of it. This is the application for your visa here. So you click agree, go to next, and this is where it starts. So right now you just fill out your current location, if anyone will be accompanying you, and if this is the first visa. So give me a sec, let me fill this out. Okay. So this is somewhat what it should look like. This is what mine looks like. You don't have anyone accompanying you. You haven't had a work and holiday before. This is your first one, right? And you have not been granted anything before. And then you just have to give a approximate date. So you click next, right? This is the second page. This is where you fill out all your essential information. So you fill out your family name, given names, your sex, everything like that. Give me another sec, and I will fill all this out, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the information you see here. Obviously, I've used fake names because it won't let you apply again. So I've done through this. It shows you all the information from your passports and everything like that. Information here about that, about your province and place of birth. And then here about just simple questions. Have you ever applied for? Do you have any other documents known by any other names? That kind of stuff. Keep that noted. All right? Okay. So this is all correct. Yes. Okay, now it goes to another section, page 5 of 12. Okay, so this is what that should look like. Obviously, it's just this very straightforward stuff. Make sure you guys just actually read the documents. So the usual country of residence, Canada, you put your address here. Of course, I just put a made-up address, and then you put your cell phone number, email, anything like that, all just for contacting. Next place, does the application authorize another person to relocate their No. Just click a no, unless you need someone to report for you, you really don't need that. And then make sure this is correct. So make sure your email here is very correct. Obviously your email, but make sure that's correct because that is where they will send the confirmation of your application any disputes with it, and your final acceptance letter. Okay, so usual occupation of applicant, I'm going to say, whatever, brick mason. This, right, education, right, do whatever you want, say, so you got a graduate diploma, cool, that's again right there. Make sure you're honest on everything like this, right, okay. So these are the health declarations. The next couple pages are really important. This one is the health declaration. Of course, answer honestly, but if it doesn't look that, it should look something like this. Okay, so unless, of course, you have any medical conditions or anything like that, or intend to study in Australia or study as a doctor or work as a doctor in a hospital or anything like that, all of these should be no. But of course, read through every single one of them and make sure that they don't apply to you. So of course, like any pregnancies, mental illness, blood disorders, anything like that, if you do have it, do put it. It doesn't disqualify you from it. What it does is just let them know what could happen with you here. Okay, so this is the character declarations. So this is about the police notice. These are very important, right? If you get one of these wrong, it could cause a big issue with it. So I've heard of cases of people accidentally clicked, had an offense that they declared insanity, and they clicked yes, and of course their application got denied then. So read through every one of these carefully and answer honestly. I'll show you what it should look like at the end here. Okay, so this is what it should look like at the end. For 90% of people, it'll all be no. Of course, there are some, like if you've served in the military or if you ever accidentally overstayed a visa, if you ever any minor charges or anything like that, do answer yes. I don't believe it will cost you your visa. I think as long as it's not one of the major ones, right, and you will be able to talk to them about it, but make sure you're honest because they will find out. But if you are honest and none of this stuff's happened, it should all be no. Next page. Okay, the working holiday declarations. This is another thing. You have to make sure you understand these fully. The applicant declares that they understand that they must abide conditions of the visa, understand that the visa they are applying for does not permit them to be employed in Australia by one employer for more than 6 months. So that's a big thing. You are only allowed to work 6 months with each company in Australia. Right? Understand that the visa they are applying for does not permit them to undertake studies or training for more than 4 months. Yes, and has sufficient funds. So all of these, again, on page 11 should be yes. Okay, and this is the final declarations. This one is, make sure you really, really pay attention to this one. This is the final page. Okay, so at the end, everything on this page should be yes. Make sure you do not confuse this with the other declarations page about the merits of your character. These are all saying that you understand the visa, you understand the terms, you understand the conditions of your visa, understand consent to give facial images and fingerprints if required. Basically just like forms of identity and everything. And then this is your declaration as an applicant and your values as an Australian there. Okay, so next. Okay, so that is it. This is the last page. Make sure you review everything on here. Review everything, make sure it's all correct. Again, this is pretty self-explanatory. These should all be no. This should be your information here, permanent, all your address and stuff. Make sure your email is correct. Very important. Again, all of them, right? This and then these should all be no. These are all the, in terms of police checks, right? This is a small form about yes, about you understand, and this should all be yes about your understanding and comprehension of the full visa. If you go to the next page, the next page is this. So you must attach your travel document, evidence of your funds to stay and in Australia and departure. So you must send a screenshot of your funds. You need to have a certain amount of money. They recommend $4,500, so you need to send that, and you need to send a travel document. Okay, so just your picture of your passport, right? And there's 60 maximum. This is your reference number. Make sure you keep an eye on this. Okay, and this is as far as I'm going to take you because I don't have this. Basically, you submit your documents and they get reviewed, and then you go to the next page and you make your payment, and that is the completion of your visa. Okay guys, that's it. As you can see, it's really not that difficult. The key thing is just to pay attention to what you're doing and take your time. Those questionnaires, your email, all your passport information, it's really important. So just slow down, take your time, relax, and you'll be just fine. As you can see, I filled it out. Refer back to this if that helps you. And that's it. You're pretty much done filling out your visa. The next step is getting to Australia. In the next video, we'll be talking about bank accounts, taxes, and superannuations, which is pretty simple, but again, a very important factor of being here in Australia. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would be a real help, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.